Blood surged to my fingertips, causing a tingling sensation as I gripped the keycard to my own hotel, watching my sister obstruct the entrance. Laughter from my father echoed in the expansive Grand Azure lobby, the very one I had designed and owned, while I stood outside like an unwelcome visitor. "You can't seriously think you're coming in," Vanessa sneered, lowering her voice to a disparaging whisper. She adjusted her designer dress, an obvious replica from the sketches my designer friend had shared just last week, and positioned herself defiantly in the doorway. "This is the Grand Azure, Ellie. The tasting menu alone costs more than your monthly salary." If only she knew that I had crafted that menu alongside our Michelin-starred chef. My father too, I reminded myself, keeping my voice steady. The small envelope in my clutch contained the deed to a vacation villa in Tuscany, one of the Grand Azure's most exclusive properties. Suddenly feeling weighty. "My name is Eleanor. I'm 38 and a hospitality entrepreneur. This is the story of how I reclaim my rightful place at a table I own. Mom and Dad were very clear about their wishes," Vanessa continued, primping in the glass door's reflection. "They only want successful people here, no one to embarrass the family." The irony struck me hard. Just yesterday, I had finalized a $100 million expansion for the Grand Azure chain. Yet here I was, apparently too shameful to enter my own hotel. I fought back laughter at the absurdity of it all. A decade ago, when I opted for a career in hospitality management over the family accounting firm, I was nearly disowned. My father's voice still echoed in my mind. "No daughter of mine is going to be a glorified waitress." So I let them think I was struggling in restaurant management while I built Azure Hospitality Group into a leading luxury hotel chain, now boasting 35 five-star hotels across 3 continents. Just then, my mother's sharp voice pierced my thoughts. "Eleanor, what are you doing here? We've gone over this." No, they had discussed it. This morning I received a text from her. "Don't come to Dad's birthday. It's at the Grand Azure. You can't afford it. Don't embarrass us." I raised the small envelope. "I brought a gift." "What is it?" "A gift card to Olive Garden." Vanessa laughed. "Or did you save enough in tips to buy something from the mall?" My mother's gaze scrutinized my clutch, a handmade Italian leather piece that outweighed Vanessa's car in value. "Whatever it is, I'm sure your sister's gift is more fitting," she remarked. "She just made junior partner at her firm, you know." I was aware, much like I knew her firm was negotiating to lease office space in one of my buildings, the lease they desperately needed but couldn't quite afford. Vanessa had it all. New house, luxury car, a promising fiancé. My mother continued her proud recitation, giving me a critical once-over. "And you? Well, at least you're trying." I thought about my penthouse overlooking Central Park, my collection of rare sports cars, and the private jet I'd flown in on that morning. "Yes, Mom. At least I'm trying." "Speaking of trying," Vanessa smirked. "That dress. Couldn't you have made more of an effort? This is the Grand Azure, not a diner." My fingers brushed over the elegant black silk, custom-made in Paris by a designer who had refused to make anything for Vanessa last month. "It's what I could manage," I replied mildly. "Well, you can't come in," Vanessa declared. "We reserve the entire VIP floor for family and distinguished guests only." The VIP floor. My VIP floor, the one I had painstakingly redesigned, selecting every piece of artwork and crystal chandelier. "And the distinguished guests are?" asked, genuinely curious. "Oh, you wouldn't know them." My mother waved dismissively. "The Andersons, they own that successful law firm. The Blackwoods, old money, you know. And Mr. Harrison from the bank. All very important people." I struggled to contain my smile. Thomas Anderson leased 3 of my properties, and the Blackwoods had recently begged to join my exclusive resort. Mr. Harrison's bank was currently seeking a significant loan from my investment group. "Right," I said. "Very important people." "Exactly," Vanessa replied, pleased to see I understood my place. "So you see why you can't be here. Imagine if people knew Dad's failure of a daughter was serving their drinks." My mother softly chastised Vanessa, though she clearly approved. "Be kind. Eleanor made her choices. If she'd stayed with the family firm like you did, things would be different. The family firm now occupied a modest office in one of my buildings, frequently struggling to pay rent. Monthly reports from my property manager confirmed that struggle. Then my brother-in-law Gavin arrived, adjusting his tie. "What's taking so long? Everyone's waiting for." His expression dropped when he saw me. "Eleanor didn't expect to see you here." "Clearly not," I replied. My mother interjected proudly that Gavin just became vice president at his bank. "Junior vice president," I corrected, knowing his title because his bank handled some of my smaller accounts. "Well, it's more impressive than whatever you're doing," Vanessa snapped. "Assistant manager at some chain restaurant." I recalled the board meeting I had left that morning where we discussed acquiring the very bank Gavin worked for. "Something like that," I said. "This is ridiculous," my mother declared. "Eleanor, just go. You're causing a scene. I'll tell your father you couldn't make it. Couldn't afford it." Vanessa laughed. I glanced past them through the grand entrance of the hotel I'd built. Marble floors I had selected, crystal chandeliers I'd commissioned, and artwork I had personally curated. All of it belonged to me. For a moment, I thought about walking away, letting them have their party and maintaining the facade they had constructed. But then I remembered a piece of wisdom from my first mentor. Success means nothing if you can't stand up for yourself. Taking a deep breath, I straightened my shoulders, feeling empowered by everything I had built without their support or validation. My fingers tingled less, replaced by a calm clarity. "Actually," I said softly, "I think I'll stay." Before my mother could respond, the glass doors swung open, and Owen, my head of security, stepped outside. He had been with me since I bought my first struggling hotel 7 years ago, turning it into the flagship of the Azure chain. "Is everything all right here, Madam CEO?" he called out. "Your usual table is ready, and Chef Michel is holding the menu for your approval." The silence was deafening. Vanessa's mouth fell open, her lipstick suddenly harsh against her pale face. My mother gripped the brass door handle for balance. "Owen," I smiled. "Perfect timing. My family was just explaining how I couldn't possibly afford to dine here." "Ma'am." He looked genuinely puzzled. "But you own the entire hotel chain." "Yes, I do," I replied, turning to my stunned family. "Shall we go inside? I believe you've reserved the VIP floor." My VIP floor, to be precise. Gavin was the first to find his voice. This is some kind of joke. You're just a restaurant manager." "Actually," Owen interjected professionally, "Miss Eleanor is the founder and CEO of Azure Hospitality Group. She owns all 35 Grand Azure hotels worldwide, along with our resort properties and restaurant chains." Vanessa dropped her designer clutch, which clattered against the marble steps. "But that's impossible. The Grand Azure is worth billions," I added, which makes your comment about me not being able to afford the tasting menu rather amusing. I stepped into the hotel lobby, where the staff immediately straightened, offering their respect. "Good evening, Miss Eleanor," my front desk manager called out. "The executive suite is ready for your father's birthday celebration." "Thank you, Rachel," I replied, turning back to my family, still frozen in the doorway. "Coming." They followed me inside, wide-eyed as if seeing the hotel anew. Staff members greeted me by name, acknowledging my hard-earned respect. "But your dress," my mother finally managed, eyeing my simple black dress as if viewing it in a new light. "Custom-made in Paris. It cost about $30,000, I believe," I casually mentioned, admitting I had a bad habit of not checking price tags any longer. I led them to the private elevator that required a special key, which I retrieved from my clutch. Unlike Vanessa's dress, which is a knockoff, the real Valentino collection hasn't even been released yet. I know because I attended the private showing last month. The elevator doors opened into the VIP lounge, where my father's birthday celebration was already underway. The room fell silent as we entered. "Eleanor," my father stood from the head table, shock and confusion crossing his face. "What are you doing here? Your mother said you couldn't afford it. I walked over to him. Happy birthday. Hope you don't mind me crashing the party in my own hotel. Your hotel. Mr. Harrison from the bank stepped forward, relief washing over his face. Miss Eleanor, I had no idea you were Robert Thompson's daughter. We've been trying to arrange a meeting with you for months regarding that loan. Eleanor owns the Grand Azure, Thomas Anderson interjected. My God, Robert, your daughter is the mysterious CEO who's been acquiring prime real estate around the city. My father's face drained of color as he sank back into his chair. All this time, we thought you were just a glorified waitress. I raised an eyebrow. Your words, I believe, from when I left the family firm to pursue my dreams in hospitality. But why didn't you tell us? My mother pressed, still clutching her pearls. Would you have believed me? I replied quietly. You didn't believe in me 10 years ago when I needed your support. Why would I share my success with people who value worth by the size of someone's bank account? I paused, adding, by that metric, I suppose I'm worth more than everyone in this room combined. Vanessa collapsed into a nearby chair, ashen-faced. The villa in the south of France. The one that was mysteriously unavailable last summer, I confirmed. It's mine. My property manager forwarded your reservation request, not realizing our connection. I looked at Gavin. Just like the office building your firm is struggling to lease, and the resort membership you've been waitlisted for, Mother. Eleanor, my father began, trembling. Save it, I interrupted, holding up my hand. I didn't reveal this to hurt you, though you have hurt me plenty over the years. I did it because I'm tired of hiding my success to spare your pride. Addressing the room, I continued. Please enjoy the party. Everything is on the house, my house. I paused, then added. Oh, and Dad, that envelope Vanessa wouldn't let me give you. It's the deed to a villa in Tuscany, one of my most exclusive properties. Consider it a birthday gift from your failure of a daughter. The next hour felt surreal. People who had ignored me in past family gatherings now clamored to discuss business opportunities. The Blackwoods nearly begged for that resort membership, while Mr. Harrison cornered me about his bank's loan application. Meanwhile, my family sat in stunned silence. Vanessa's fiancé made a hasty exit upon learning her future partnership at her firm hinged on a lease she couldn't afford in my building. Gavin busied himself with phone calls, likely updating his resume, while my mother oscillated between crying and explaining to other guests how she'd always believed in her daughter's potential. As the evening wound down, I found my father alone on the terrace, gazing out at the city lights. How many of those buildings do you own? He asked, pointing at the skyline. Enough, I replied, standing beside him. Including the family firm's building. He nodded slowly. I was terribly wrong about you, Eleanor. Yes, I agreed. You were. Can you ever forgive us? I regarded his question, contemplating years of dismissal and condescension. Forgiveness isn't the issue, Dad. Respect is. You never respected my choices or believed in my abilities. You only respect success after it's proven. And now, I said with a slight smile. Now you can tell people your daughter owns the Grand Azure. That should suffice for your dinner party conversation. I left him there, heading to my private office on the top floor. Tomorrow the family dynamic would shift dramatically. Vanessa would no longer be the golden child. My mother would rewrite history to claim she had always supported me. Gavin and his bank would likely face acquisition. But tonight I had finally taken my rightful place at the table. A table I had built myself in a room I owned, under a roof I had paid for. And that was worth more than any delayed family approval.